Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tommy Jordan. I'm the Chief Instructor and owner of Second Amendment Firearms Training Academy based out of Albemarle, North Carolina. This is kind of an off-the-cuff video, so pardon me, it's not very well scripted, but I'll do the best I can. WSOC TV out of Charlotte did a investigative journalism piece. It got a lot of hype on the website and on their Facebook page, and I actually came home early from work to catch it because it sounded like it was going to be an important piece. The topic was concealed carry instructors cutting corners in the classroom. That happens a lot, so I thought, this will be a good chance to expose some of the problems with our concealed carry instructor platform. It was 3 minutes of puff and no actual content whatsoever. The article was horrible. The journalist went into a firearms academy named Shooters Express here in NC. I can't remember what town, but he had 3 complaints. Number one, the instructor went over the test scores with the students, the testing students. The instructor let the students grade each other's tests, and the investigative reporter posed as a student when he got his handbook, the red book they could give you to study the class for. When he got his handbook, he already had the test answers penciled in. Now, I don't know the guys at Shooters Express, so I'm not actually coming to their defense. I'm just saying, not a very good piece of journalism, if that's the worst you can find. There are a lot of things about our concealed carry instructor program that need to be revised or audited or tightened up a little bit. And I say that as an instructor. But none of the things you guys picked on were things that I think deserve to be picked on. Now, I don't know Shooters Express, but just in the interest of fair play, I'm going to tell you we do a lot of the same things they were accused of. So let me cover them point at a time. Number one, no, we don't give students, and they don't intentionally give students, a red test book, red student book that has the answers circled. Most instructors buy those books in bulk, and you give them out to the class. They're about $5 a piece, plus shipping. By the time you're said and done, those little cheesy red books are about $10. And so you pass them out to your class, and the class will go through the book as you go through the material. And when you're done, they'll either take the test in the back of the book, or they'll take a test you copied yourself to give them. And they'll turn the book back in if they're not going to carry it home. A lot of instructors say, if you're going to use the book, take it. If you're not going to use the book and it's just going to collect dust on your coffee table, save me the $10 and leave me my book. So chances are that's how the journalist got a book that had the answers pre-marked. It doesn't say the answers that he had pre-marked were correct, just that he had a book that had answers highlighted in pencil. So, okay, that's bad. Big deal. Small oops, the instructor probably couldn't easily catch it because he has to go back through every class book and check for those pages. I've seen that happen in the classroom. I've seen it happen in our classrooms. And I tell the students, I'm like, if you ever open a book that has the answer circle, don't assume for a second that they're right. Because the moron that left the answer in the book, A, didn't take the book home to study because it's still here, and B, there's no guarantee he passed the test. So that addresses the first complaint. The second complaint was that they allowed students to grade tests. Now, I'll be honest, our academy does the exact same thing. I'm not the slightest bit ashamed about saying that. We do it for a factor of convenience. Some of our students drive 3 hours to come to our classes, and I'm very flattered that they do. That's a long trip to take for a concealed carry class that's going to be 8, 9, 10 hours long. So you got 2 or 3 or 4 hour drive home. It's very awesome that you would choose to come to someone's academy and spend that much time out of your day. So those that do, by the way, we appreciate that a lot. And we know what kind of sacrifice you're making to do that. But having said that, when the class day is over, students want to take their certificate home that day. So most of us instructors will have some format similar to the following. Students, it's time to take your test. We're going to give you half an hour. Although it's not a time test, that's plenty of time. Don't cheat. Don't ask questions out loud. The test is an open book because it's actually in the book you have. So go through the book, answer the questions, circle the correct answer, and when we're done, we will collect the tests. We will swap them to another student, not the one beside you, but somebody across the room, and go through the answers one at a time. Let me be clear. There are instructors, and maybe the guys at Shooters Express are these kind of instructors, but maybe they're not. And I don't know, so I'm not going to say they are, because I'm not going to paint them with that brush when I have no clue if this is true or not. But there is a not vast majority, there's a minority of instructors out there that give you the test and tell you don't answer anything until I tell you. And they go through the questions one at a time in the classroom. The instructor that I took my concealed carry permit as a civilian from was that kind of instructor. In fact, he's the reason I became a concealed carry instructor. I very much support my Second Amendment right to carry. I very much support the right for other people to carry and to conceal carry. And I think if you're going to do that and accept that responsibility, you deserve the benefit of a class that's going to teach you something, not teach you how to cheat and pass the test. And so my instructor flat out cheated. He let us all pass. There were people in that class that I know shouldn't have passed, but we did. And so I started my academy so I could hopefully put a dent in those kind of instructors and set the bar a little bit higher. And of course I called the Department of Justice and told them about the guy that did that, and that's what you all should do too. If you go to a concealed carry class and that happens, the instructor gives you the answers, by all means, take your certificate home. Don't be proud of it because you didn't really earn it. But call the Department of Justice and tell them, because that instructor needs to be fired. But assuming that's not what Shooters Express does, then they do something similar to what we do. We go over the tests and answers together after the test is taken, and we find out who missed what and why. The reason we do that test that you're given, it's not to pass or fail you as a student. Sure, I mean, yes, at the end of the day it is. But the point is, we need to know as instructors right then that day how well the information we just disseminated to you was received. So if there's 5 of you in a classroom, it's very easy to get a lot of one-on-one time per student. But when you have 25 in a classroom, it's very difficult for one instructor to eyeball that many individuals and be sure they're comprehending everything. So if I take the test back up and we pass them around and grade, and I find out that 20 out of 25 people missed question number 6, well, then I know that I didn't do a good job articulating that particular topic during that day's concealed carry class. So before you all go home, let's take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it takes, and cover that point again. Because I don't care, or we as instructors shouldn't care that you got 6 right or wrong. We should care that you understand the concept that question asked. By the way, question 6 and question 14 on the state test are always trick questions that everybody gets those wrong, so don't feel bad. If you missed 2 on the concealed carry test, you did pretty good. If you missed 15, you should go back to school. But that test exists to grade us. At least that's how our instructors and my instructors approach it. Have I ever had a student fail the test? Yes, I have. I have had a student miss over half. That student didn't get his certificate. But on the average, students miss between 1 to 3. That means I feel like I did a good job. If 20 students missed 1 to 3 and 1 student missed 15, I didn't do a bad job as an instructor that day. He did a bad job of paying attention. He didn't get 65 or 70% of what I was saying, so he doesn't deserve to pass that class. But that's why we grade the test in class. That's how we grade in class. We always keep an instructor in the room, at least an instructor or an RSO, to be sure that there's not somebody in the classroom going, hey, the answer to number 4 is D. That's why we're there. So, to stop folks from cheating and taking advantage of the situation. And usually the instructor's been talking for 8 hours, so he's ready to go home. And he's glad to have a 20-minute break while students take their test. So I hope that clarifies the big issues that WSOC TV found to be problems with the concealed carry class. Now on to my complaints with their investigative journalism. First off, it's a real shame you call that investigative journalism. You went to one instructor's class, you sat in it one time, you wrote your article. You said yourself there are 1,870 concealed carry instructors in this state. You took less than 1% of 1% of them and called that something to base an article on, that's pathetic. You guys should know better. Go to 5 instructors. Go to 10. I know you can't go to 1,870 of them. That's crazy. But go to more than one. Don't pick on one guy. And don't assume one guy, it doesn't matter if he's great or horrible, is indicative of the concealed carry instructor culture in the state, because that's just plain asinine. So I'm going to address a couple things in this video response. Number one, I'm going to address what they should have addressed, and then I'm going to address what you as potential students can do to determine if the instructor's course you're about to go to is a good course to go to. So let me cover that first, in case some of you get bored and want to tune out. So, things you as a student can ask. Number one, call the classroom or call the instructor about the class you're curious about. How much does it cost? If the price is crazy, don't go, of course. If the price is $40, don't go. Okay? These classes, between our insurance costs, the cost to have a professional building, a professional range, train our staff, train ourselves, provide the tests and the books and certificates, you can't do that for $35 or $40 a student. It's not possible. I'm just going to go ahead and just tell you, you're losing money hand over fist. So if you go to an instructor that does a class for that cheap, he doesn't really care too much about your education as a concealed carry student. He cares about making $40 times 20 students that day. So he's going to pocket $800, and you're going to pocket a subpar concealed carry education. That's my blatant thoughts on that. So $50, $75, $125, those are all kind of average prices, but they tend to be in our state between $75 and $125. So that's the target market I would look for if I was you. Now, ask if they're insured. We're not required by law to be, which is kind of dumb. You think we would be, but we're not. We as concealed carry instructors are not required to carry a firearms instructor insurance, but there is a package available that we can get. All of my instructors have it. I'm sure the majority of instructors have it, but ask, do you guys have firearms instructor insurance? That is there. That policy exists. So if you come to the classroom and shoot yourself in the foot, you've got some insurance policy to fall back on. Otherwise, you're going to just sue John Boy, whose class you took in the back of his garage. If he had the money to be teaching in a professional facility, he wouldn't be teaching in the back of his garage, which means he doesn't have the money to pay your hospital bills either. So be sure that your instructor is insured. Ask if they're on the BBB, or check the reviews on Yelp. Check the reviews on Facebook. Don't go look for all the 5-star reviews, because 5-star reviews are always at the top. Look for the low reviews and read them. Read 5 or 10 of them. See what those complaints were. See if it's the same complaint multiple times. If you hear the instructor didn't really care what we thought or didn't answer our questions, and that seems to be a recurring theme, that may not be an instructor you want to go to. If you heard, wow, the class was great, man, it was done in 3 hours. Wow, it's definitely also a class you don't want to go to. Look for well-balanced reviews from other customers. Most any instructor today, at least in this state, is all over social platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Yelp, we're on the Better Business Bureau, we're on Groupon. Angie's List doesn't have a category for gun teachers, or we'd all be there too. But go online, check their background, check their complaints, see what others have said before you go spend your money. Look for instructors that have a Better Business Bureau logo. Unfortunately, you'll only find 2 of them in the entire state, at least as of now. I know because I'm one of them, and actually my academy is one of them, and the other is the instructor who taught me to be an instructor, a great guy, and he's the one that said, you guys should all get signed up with the BBB, and I went, great idea, you're right, sir. And the reason we do that is we have no ability to impact those reviews left by customers on the BBB website. So if I don't do a good job and I give you a horrible education, you can go to the Bureau and complain, and other people are going to see it. So it's my job to keep my reputation clean, and hopefully keep it with 5 stars. So we try very hard to do that. Look for instructors that cares enough about their reputation to be listed publicly and give others a chance to talk about them publicly. That equals the playing field filled out for you as a potential customer. Don't go just read testimonials on their site and go, wow, 25 people said they're great. Because I've had the same thing. My first couple hundred customers said great things. And if that's all you ever saw and the reviews are 5 years old, then you really shouldn't trust those. Look for new reviews and look for honest reviews. Ask your instructor, by the way, what's your course platform? Or when do we shoot? Because a lot of instructors have this thing they do, called a thing. They have this thing where students come in and they all go shoot first in the morning. A lot of instructors call it pre-qualifying. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. You don't pre-qualify for concealed carry. They take the students to the range. They let them do the shooting portion. They get that out of the way. They check all the boxes. Yes, they passed. And then they go back to the classroom. They teach class, hopefully, for 8 hours. That's what they're supposed to do. However, what you'll find is, part of what they're required to teach that's outlined in our instructor book, you guys have a red student book. We actually have a yellow instructor book that says what we have to do. And one of those things is we have to cover basic gun safety. We have to cover basic anatomy of firearms. So you have to know what end the bang comes out of and what the clicky thing does when you pull it, and what happens if you point it at your foot to pull the clicky thing. So these are all things that they're supposed to cover before they put you on range and shoot. And maybe you already know all that and you're great. But what about the 65-year-old grandmother in that class that's coming to get her permit and hasn't fired a gun in 50 years or ever? How do you know she's not going to shoot you in the back by accident? That's why we cover gun safety and stuff before we ever go to the range. You should never go to a class where the instructor shoots first and talks second. I should have just put it in that brief sentence. There's the rule. Don't go to a class where you shoot first and talk second. Fair enough? Ask him how many students are on the range as compared to instructors. That's called the instructor-to-student ratio. The NRA wants 1-to-1, which that means if you have 3 students shooting at that particular time, at the same time, lined up, the NRA says you should also have 3 instructors. That's not going to happen. Firearms academies can't afford that. So the DOJ is pretty cool with 3-to-1. You can have 3 students per instructor. Depending on the students and the class, sometimes I feel like I can handle 4 students at a time. But the point is, no instructor, I don't care how good he thinks he is, can safely put 10 students on one firing line with just himself to watch those guns and still keep an eye on the other students who aren't shooting and the other surrounding things that could be happening and the barrels of all those guns at once. It's not humanly possible. So if you go to a class where an instructor lines up 10 students, says, y'all just go ahead, fire, have a good day, just shoot to your drive. Don't go to that guy's class. In fact, call the DOJ on that guy because he's being unsafe. He's going to get somebody hurt. All right? So those are a few of the things to look for as a student, and I think a few flags that could be raised that you should ask about. And that's all I'm pretty going to say on that. Now, to WSOC TV and the journalists who fail to do their job, you guys are A, really disappointing, but B, I'm going to do your job today for you, because the concealed carry platform really does need some oversight. We of course answer to the North Carolina Department of Justice, but that's really not very, it's not enforced very well, okay? So here's the behind the scenes on how to become a concealed carry instructor, all right? Go to concealed carry instructor school. Check. Done. And then you have to contact the DOJ and say, I want to become an instructor. I passed the course. I want to be an instructor. And the first thing they say is, show us your course outline. Now, we all know from instructor school, because we all got the cheat sheet that says, don't make up your own outline, for God's sake. Just copy the first couple pages of our book that's already here in your hands and turn that at it and tell them that's what you're going to teach. They'll approve you every time, guaranteed, 100% of the time, no worries. This is how backyard instructors get their permits. They can follow those 2 biblical directions. Tear these 2 pages out of the yellow book and send that to the Department of Justice along with your instructor fee. You're guaranteed to become an instructor. That's how easy it is. That's a shame. I mean, that's how I got mine, but I care more about my student safety than a lot of these guys do. So I go the extra mile. Our courses, I know, are in depth, are in detail, And our customer testimonials show that. So I feel like I'm doing a good job by my students and by the North Carolina State government. But the program as a whole needs a lot of overhaul. The DOJ should be auditing our classes with surprise inspections often, at least once a year. You ought to not be able to teach a class throughout a year and not have at least one surprise student that you later find out is a DOJ inspector. And then he comes to you and says, "Hey, Mr. Tommy, I sat in your class last Saturday, and I want to let you know that either A, you did a great job, I'd like to shake your hand, thank you for upholding the ethics of this program, or B, if you don't change your stuff, you're going to have your instructor credentials yanked because you're teaching things that are wrong, or you're not following the program, or you're teaching too short a class." Those are the worst guys, the guys that try to cram. So here's a rule. North Carolina law says that class has to be 8 hours long plus range time. Okay? So if you went to a class that was 4 hours long, that instructor should be fired. Not to mention your certificate should be pulled because you couldn't have gotten the education that you were supposed to get in that amount of time. Now, I'll be honest. In case somebody tries to catch me on this, Ed Zapolsky, he's the boss of all of us at DOJ. My class is geared for 25 students. I don't ever teach above 25, and I only teach that if I have 3 other instructors in the room. Our average class is 15. A small class is 8. I've known one small is 3. So if the material is geared for 15 to 25 students, and I only have 3 students, then guess what? Doesn't take 8 hours. Oops. Sorry. And I'm not going to make a student sit there and go, "Well, we're all done now. It's 7 hours and 13 minutes. You're going to just sit here for 45 because the state says you have to." That's retarded. That's stupid. We're not in kindergarten. So understand that, yes, a class may take 7 hours and 15 minutes. May take, I guess it could possibly take as little as 6 hours and 45 minutes, maybe, if there were just 1 or 2 students, because they have less questions than 25 students do. So, but if you have, like the last class I did of 19, that class took 14 hours. My wife was about to call EMS to come find me because I was way later getting home than I said I should be at the very latest. Different classes take different lengths of time, but they should all take at least 8 hours plus range time. So maybe a small class getting done in 7, that's acceptable, but not if it's all the time. That's something that needs to be audited. That's something that the DOJ wants to know about. If you go to a class that's 4 hours long, call the Department of Justice Training Academy and let them know who that instructor was. Take notes. The program needs to be revamped. It does. It needs to be. It needs to be much more tightly regulated. The state does not need 2,000 instructors. The state does not need these pay-per-permit instructors. These are the guys you find on Craigslist. You type in concealed carry class, and they go, "Hey, if you'll just meet me in the backyard and give me $50, I'll give you a permit, and you go on back at your day." Wow, really? That's awesome. Thanks. That guy, committed a crime, and you should call the Department of Justice. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed about our program. Our academy and all the instructors that I know go above and beyond all the requirements the Department of Justice asks of us. I don't hang out with the instructors that are bad because I don't want to be, put in the same group as those guys. So I don't know who they are, or I would tell you. I do know that I feel like Shears Express got painted with a very broad brush in the WSOC TV news article. I thought that was not very fair. It may be accurate, but using one academy and one instructor and one student in one day as the basis for your news piece, that's pretty poor, guys. Come to our class. Come to me. If you were just to say, "Hey, we're going to do a news piece on concealed carry," I bet a lot of instructors would probably just call you and go, "Dude, how about come sit in our class?" They'd love to have you. They'd love for you to see what they do. Concealed carry instructors love to show off what we do. And I'm just as guilty of that as the rest of them. Come by my class anytime. I don't mind. If you already have your concealed carry permit, but haven't gone to a class since the laws changed in October 2013, there's a whole lot of information you don't know. So I tell students all the time, if you already have your permit, let me see it. Okay, great, you have one. I'll let you sit in that class for free that day, because I'm not going to give you a permit you already have one, but at least you get to hear the new laws that you might not otherwise know. A lot of instructors do the exact same thing. Just audit their class, sit down, hear the legal part, and leave it if you like. But that's something that a lot of the instructor academies offer. So I've talked long enough. I hope you guys do spend some time doing some actual investigative reporting into the culture of concealed carry instruction and the massive amount of corner cutting that is being done. It's just not what you think it is. Thank you, potential students, for watching. Again, my name is Tommy Jordan. I'm a chief instructor and founder of Second Amendment Firearms Training. Our website is www.safeconcealedcarry.com, and our Facebook, you can find us at facebook.com/SAFT for Safety Academy. That's it. Have a good day, y'all.